Bad news, everybody. I've just seen the latest direct-to-digital rental called The Swing of Things, starring Cord Overstreet from Glee and former Miss Universe Olivia Culpo, along with no less than 5 male screenwriters who, as a group, could not seem to come up with a coherent plot for this piece. These dudes really sat down and said, "Is boobs a story?" and just ran with it. Between the lackluster acting, even from named celebrities, as well as lazy camera work and rushed production, The Swing of Things is like an ecological disaster. I'm not being dramatic. Well, I am. But either way, there's a lot to get into here. I hope you're ready for shaky cinematography and CGI dolphins. Stay tuned for another clip breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another clip breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies and least favorite movies. What could be better? But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns just like this. And if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down there. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be in the loop, mama. Oh, also, if you like the look of this water bottle, which people sometimes say they do, I'll put a link to that in the description as well. Important things! So, The Swing of Things is described as a movie about a newlywed couple whose wedding is accidentally rerouted to a swingers club in Jamaica. Also, this movie somehow has more characters than Lord of the Rings, except I actually watched this. Lord of the Rings is one of those movies like my grandpa used to put on and I'd be like, okay, elf ears, got it. I'm a head out. The movie starts with Tom, who is played by Cord Overstreet, rushing to his ad agency job where his best friend Ricky works with him. This felt very Hallmark movie to me because every lead in a Hallmark movie is like, I work at the big ad agency and it's time to pitch the Christmas tree idea. And this was very much that, only they're pitching for like some Elon Musk type guy who's played by John Lovitz. They're pitching a campaign for his jetpack. Right off the bat, from these special effects, you get a feeling for what kind of movie this is gonna be. Have you ever tied a Barbie doll to a string and hung it from your ceiling fan? Because that's exactly how they made this movie. Behind the scenes magic. I don't know why this is in here. I think it's just supposed to be some physical comedy to warm us up, but it doesn't do much to tell us about the character except that he can think quick on his feet because he really impresses the inventor guy with this idea. I gotta tell you, this whole script feels like a first draft to me. Like someone wrote this on the back of a cocktail napkin and the director was like, yeah, greenlit. Meanwhile, this is intercut with our meeting of Laura, who is the female lead in this, again played by Olivia Culpo, who, fun fact, was the roommate of my dear friend Emily back when they were in college in Boston, right around the time that she won Miss Universe. So she was dating celebrities and getting these appearances, and now I guess they put her in movies. And her acting is definitely sufficient. You know when you did a school play and there was one girl who was way too cool to be in it and she was like, Romeo, Romeo. Like she didn't want her friends in the audience to think she was actually into it? That's how Olivia feels in this movie. She's like one step out of it the whole time, which is how I felt while watching it, so work. Laura is a down-on-her-luck dog walker who's trying to break into the fashion industry. No, not human fashion, but dog clothes. This could be a fun, quirky trait for somebody, but they abandon it as soon as the movie gets going. Although I can't say I blame them, because just from watching this sequence, it's clear they had a hard time working with the animals on set.
And we have Miss Kesha Rockefeller Jones in our suit made of authentic...
Molly, what are you doing here? Tonight is my donkey fashion show.
Did you catch that shot of her holding out the hanger being used 3 times in a row? And then they're just like adding camera flashes to these shots of dogs. It's a mess. And also, they clearly shot all of that dog B-roll separately from the part where they're talking and there's dialogue up above. Because you can see when Laura and her roommate, Georgia, who's Australian, are standing there. And even at one point, we see a crew member or an animal wrangler in the background of this scene. Like, who's that woman there? No one's wearing that costume in this scene. Honey, you're ruining our shot. Can you move just a little frame right for it? No? Okay, I guess you're in the movie then. Do you have an IMDb page? Great. Also, Molly, the promiscuous roommate, enters here with a couple guys she's hooking up with, and they have a graphic sex scene during this dog show. I don't like that, but I'm not in charge of what straight people do. And I'm annoyed that Molly is even introduced here at all. Like, I really thought she was gonna tag along on the wedding and be involved in the rest of this movie. Nope, we never see her again, so no truly just fluff here. Just some fluffy fluff. I've got to change the battery in my camera already. I might also swallow a couple old batteries just because this is hard to watch. In Hollywood, they say, do yourself a favor and don't work with kids or animals. Oof. Clearly, it's a bad idea to work with dogs because you end up with shots like this.
Little furry friends couldn't walk down the aisle with them.
Like that really went into your finished movie? That was like a strobe sequence. That was like an epileptic seizure. Another trademark of this movie is that everything is a close-up and they have so many forced reaction shots that ruin the pacing of a scene.
I am not lazy.
Why do I need to see 2 seconds of each of them being like, also, the color grading looks a little off to me. Olivia looks utterly orange in this scene. She's as yellow as that back wall, when in the other scenes, her skin looks normal, and her scene partners in this one also have normal looking skin. I don't know if that's bad makeup. I've definitely made actresses look orange on camera before. Cheeto Dust City. So, Laura's dog fashion show doesn't go well because nobody's interested, obviously. So, all discouraged, Laura goes to the food truck where she's asking for an application, and the girl at the food truck awkwardly hands her this bottle of water.
Take one of these, it will help you chill out.
Thanks.
Clearly some sort of CBD product placement. I always love seeing stuff like that because in low budget movies like this, you have to do a lot of production tricks to secure your shooting budget, and that includes stuff like getting product placement deals like that. Really, a lot of it comes from attaching name actors to your film. This movie has Luke Wilson in it, John Lovett, Cord from Glee. Probably like they got some of those people attached to this script and were able to shop it around to investors and say, well, Cord Overstreet and John Lovett's are attached, leaving out the fact that, you know, the biggest names are in only a couple scenes to let the investors know that they'll likely make back their investment because there's a built-in audience who will watch this. Olivia's fans, Cord Overstreet's fans, they can count on that money to come in for rentals. And mine, I just rented it to make fun of. I paid $5.99 on YouTube Movies for this. Oof. And then I screen recorded it. Ooh. Fair use, mother. Ooh, I got an Amazon package. So anyway, Cord and Laura meet at this food truck and they instantly hit it off. And Cord is like, oh, well, maybe I can help you with your dog designs and we should go on a date. And Laura's like,
I'm not gonna date anybody until I make my first business transaction.
which is actually something she said to her roommate Georgia a little bit earlier. So you would think then that that would be a real hurdle that they have to get over before they can be in a relationship. Like, okay, they're gonna try to sell some of her clothes also that he can get with her and they can be romantic for the first time. But no, because we go right from that introduction to this scene.
It was electric from the day we met. Thanks to everyone for coming and spending some time with us before the big day.
It was electric since the day we met. You don't need to see any of that though. It's fine. Over 7 months, the relationship grew and now we're getting married. Huzzah! Was that the quickest montage you've ever seen of two people meeting and falling in love? Like if we're just gonna gloss over that whole 7 months, why did we even start the movie where we did? I didn't need to know that she was a failed dog walker, dog groomer. I didn't need to know that he was selling a jetpack. All of that could have been cut and we could have just started at this scene where Tom and Laura are with their family having dinner just before they start traveling for the wedding. Also, we meet Luke Wilson's character in this movie who sort of gives us his backstory. Like, he was adopted by Laura's parents before Laura was born and got all of the love. So he has this like adopted child complex. They mention it once and we're supposed to really feel that throughout the movie. So I'm just gonna have to keep reminding you. I'm the only one who cares about the story out of everybody on this movie. The other thing that sucks is that they introduce all of these characters, Laura's parents, Tom's parents, but I don't know any of their names and I don't get enough time to meet any of them properly. I guess the next day, the whole family is on the plane to wherever this wedding is supposed to be, and you can see the green screen outside the plane windows in some of these shots. That's how lazy we are with this film. Like, I can't. Why do I have to find the green screen in the movie? Anyway, they're in the air, headed to what we'll later find out was Manitoba, which I think is Canada, because Laura's family is from Canada, and that's supposed to be funny. Canada's not that funny. Like, I literally want to move to Canada right now. So anyway, here's them finding out about the real inciting incident of the movie, which is that they have to have their wedding somewhere else. Seems like it should be more of a big deal than they act it like it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to severe weather, we're being rerouted to the island of Jamaica. Cabin crew, prepare for landing.
Like, I had to rewatch this scene to even understand that something bad had happened. Because they're like, because of bad weather, we're gonna have to land early. And everyone's like, Like, you don't want to show me some sort of reaction that lets me know, oh my god, this is a huge issue. Also, where is the inclement weather? Can't they have the plane be rocking and everyone doing this to try to show us that it's a choppy ride? The bad weather is supposed to be the whole reason this movie exists, but we never once see it. But anyway, I guess that doesn't matter, because the whole family, including the best man, who was that friend Ricky from the ad agency, who's like a horn dog, and Georgia, the maid of honor, they all land in Jamaica. And this movie's not great for Jamaica. I mean, I don't know Jamaica, how they want to come off on film, but this movie makes them all out to be weed smoking, sex crazed people, so I don't love that characterization for Jamaica. I can see why for a sex comedy like this, they would want to lean into those types of drug jokes, because the target audience just loves them. I guess the target audience is like unintelligent men, 25 and up, because they show me lots of bare chests from women. Yeah, so I'm guessing men are supposed to watch this. And I must be just outside that Target demo over here in a more rainbow part of the Venn diagram. The first thing is Cord Overstreet being like, well, no one talked to me, I have to find a hotel since we're stranded here. And then instantly this guy who's like a fake Jamaican weed dealer is like, oh, I work at a hotel, it's 5 stars, come stay with me. So that took care of itself real quick. Thanks. I'm glad everything is so easy for these people and really worth putting to film. This fake Jamaican guy named Ira Goldstein is constantly trying to get business money out of the rich-looking dad, Manfred. I hate that name, Manfred, because whose name has ever been Manfred since 1920? Nobody. Find me one living Manfred and I will send you a Twizzlers. My brain is failing. So anyway, here's Ira asking the dad for money, but I'm more caught up in these really awkward reaction shots that are close-ups to the gods. Like, we are so close up, I can see up this guy's nose.
We're gonna open up the most beautiful dry cleaner right here. We're gonna call it Jamaican Us Do Your Laundry. Yeah, man.
This camera work is so shaky, the Blair Witch watched this movie and said, girl, you copied me. How come on the airplane it was smooth sailing and now we have turbulence in the van? I feel like it's just so obvious the camera guy would just like quickly sat in the passenger seat and was like, cool, just give me your reaction shot, it doesn't matter how stable this is. A lot of clearly like run and gun style shooting here all over the place. Like tripod, we don't know her. So the family arrives at the hotel, which is called Hedonism or something like that. And the joke is that they don't realize that it's a swingers resort right off the bat. It takes them a couple discoveries before they get to that point. I have an issue with this that I'll get into later after the reveal, but for now, everyone just seems really happy that they're at this resort. Like, it seems like a non-issue that their wedding was just completely changed. And didn't they have guests going to this other one? Like, no one seems that put off by it until it's convenient for them to seem put off by it, which is troubling. It's hard to understand, like, any of the stakes in this movie when everyone just seems to go along with whatever. Like, Ricky loves it. They all have bathing suits and stuff ready to go, and he's, like, picking up girls that he meets at the resort, which is probably supposed to make him seem like a player, but that's just a Tuesday in Palm Springs. Laura and Cord start talking about this detour and trying to make us feel something about it, but it's too little too late.
No, it's not what we planned, but I trust you.
I know the past few days have been an emotional roller coaster, to say the least.
Has it been? I would love to have seen that emotional roller coaster. I feel like they wanted to feel like, oh, what else could go wrong with this wedding? But they've done none of the work to show me that. Also, they both say, I know this isn't what we planned.
I know that this isn't what we planned.
No, it's not what we planned.
Come on, edit your script. Just read it through a second time. Once you're done with it, read it through a second time. Like, they could go back and cut 90% of the scenes at the beginning of this movie. For example, here's a scene that's 2 seconds long, and I can't figure out why they thought this was necessary.
This is where you'll be married on your very special day.
We love
Wonderful.
I think that if we had just seen the wedding take place there at the end of the movie, I would have been fine. I wouldn't have been wondering like, but when did they first see this room and agree to it? We start learning that the parents are a little wacky too, reacting to stock footage in the jungle. Stock footage that really doesn't match. And there's a lot of that. They'll be like, oh look, there's a dolphin. And then it'll be like Shamu at SeaWorld jumping over someone. They give us some scenes where we're supposed to start to be understanding that, oh, maybe this resort is not what we thought it was. Like we have the dad who's sitting at the edge of a pool with a laptop. Why would you be that close to your pool with a computer? And he's fully dressed in the pool. Why would that be a thing? And what is this graph supposed to mean? Oh, I'm a white idiot and the rates are going up. The moms are too much. Like, you can tell the actors were allowed to improvise in this movie, and it is not to the benefit of the film.
Poppy usually just likes to get right to it. Other than...
Come on.
Yes, no, you're right. That's too
Okay.
much information.
No,
I'm sorry.
too much.
Right. Yes, you're right. You're right.
No.
I apologize.
Yes, you're right. That's too much information. I'm so sorry, dear. So sorry. I apologize. I apologize. You're right. You're right. That's too much. I'm sorry. I should just stop talking. Okay. Like, come on. Enough banter. We can cut all of that. This actress is like, I was in an improv troupe, so this is no problem for me. It's a problem for me, lady. The masseurs who massage all of the moms are like these gods. They're like so hot. Also, it seems, oh my god, I look just like the meme when I do this. Regardless, for some reason, the masseuse is the first time that the whole family realizes where they are.
Mom? Oh my god, what kind of a resort is this?
Swingers resort, Tom? There is no way this is gonna work. We don't have food, flowers, the little doily.
All of a sudden, Laura's upset about the location of this wedding just because she found out it's a swingers resort. The last night when she was in bed with Tom, it wasn't a problem. She was like, I trust you. And now she's like, what are we gonna do? It's like, you already saw that they have a room set up for us. You don't have to be a swinger to stay at a swingers resort. So the conflict feels really artificial to me, because it is. You can just tell when a movie is created as a vehicle for the stars and as a cash grab to make money, as opposed to someone being like, I have a story that I really need to tell. It's about two people falling in love with their family at a swingers resort. Like, no one said that. They were just like, I'm a producer and I have access to Court Overstreet. Or they already knew they were shooting in Jamaica for tax reasons. The brother Lance shows up. It's never explained why he wasn't there on the plane. It doesn't matter. But he gets there and he's mad because his new brother-in-law brought the whole family to this freaky place, even though it was clearly an accident outside anyone's control. So again, really forced conflict there. And they really want to establish that everybody at this resort is some sort of sex freak, like this kind of creepy manager that they speak to, where again, it's like everything's nude here, even though everyone I've seen has bathing suits on.
Oh, look, yoga class. Look at that move. Well, no, that is nude yoga. She is flexible.
See, like, now you're gonna make jokes about sight gags that we can't even see. Like, I'm supposed to just imagine that whatever you're looking at is funny out the window. I can't, you guys. This movie needs to be put in a blender with ice cream and drank with a straw. I don't know what that meant, but I guess I really want a milkshake. There's this awkward scene where Lance is talking to Tom, and again, it's like two shots where they're both straight on talking to one another, which makes it so uncomfortable. It's randomly raining, even though it's not in just another second. This movie has no continuity. It drives me nuts. They try to get Lance to come on the boating trip with all the other men in the group, but he doesn't want to. And the dad is like, oh, he doesn't do anything on the boat. He doesn't go swimming. He doesn't like water, which is such a throwaway comment that I totally almost forgot it, because I already am thinking of Lance as someone, oh, his problem is like he feels like the parents love the daughter more than him.
Then they had the miracle biological child, the golden girl, and she just took up all the love.
Even though that doesn't really jive with when we saw Laura as a down-on-her-luck dog walker who was calling her mom for money and being like, I'm a mess. Wouldn't you want her to appear like the perfect overachieving child? I don't understand. Tell me the reason. Make it make sense. But no, the swing of things would rather double down on not making sense by showing me more reaction shots of people that I don't know who they are, and even bringing some talking animals into the mix.
God damn.
What in the wild thornberries? Why are there talking, smoking seagulls now? I didn't sign up for talking. Like, is this the movie Doolittle? I can't be the only one who didn't need that scene in the movie, right? I just wish that I could have been at the premiere for this movie where everyone is like trying to act like it's funny. The girls are smoking pot in a hot tub. The boys are smoking pot on a boat. Lance is at a bar meeting this newlywed who says she was abandoned at the altar. On the boat, Ira tells them this story about how nobody swims in these waters because the dolphins try to mate with you. And when Tom falls into the water, we do see a CGI dolphin penis. I'm sorry that I had to tell you about that. I really am. I wish I didn't have to see it myself. But since I'm in this boat, I'm bringing you with me, okay? So after they get off the boat, Tom and his friend Ricky both go to this kind of nighttime party that's very eyes wide shut, but more Jamaican. Ricky puts 2 pills into their shots. But anyway, this party scene goes on far too long. It's just like with the other movie we just reviewed, 365 Days, where they just add these long montages to make something glossy that passes the time. This is how you make a movie that has 20 minutes worth of story a full 90-minute feature. The moms and the daughters are still trying to get their improvisation going.
Mom, did you fall asleep with
Right here.
There's eyes open.
Right here.
Again?
Do you think that the actors were sitting on set being like, oh yeah, I see how this would fall into the larger plot of the movie? The next morning, the guys wake up and they don't know what happened. It's very The Hangover, but even more annoying. Like, Tom wakes up and he's in this girl's room.
Oh, hey, sexy.
That girl looks exactly like both Livia Culpa and the Australian girl. Like, why do all of the leads in this movie have to look the same? This was a problem in another movie we watched where I'm like, if they all are brunette with brown eyes, like, I'm gonna get them confused. We need different hairstyles. We need different costumes. It can't just all be in a bathing suit. Especially this girl, she only comes up for one scene. We're supposed to know that this is the woman that Tom went home with. But, like, what? He woke up not knowing what happened the night before. He talks to Ricky, and Dee's like, oh, we don't know what happened, but it's fine. But obviously, Tom is worried that he might have had an affair while he was drunk. Lance, the brother, had gone on some boat excursion with an island guy, and I guess this is supposed to be Lance's journey of, like, finding himself. But I never really got that he was that lost, right? Other than him just saying it. I never really had any reason to believe he was anything but the most responsible person in the family, because he's the one who's all mad about them being at this island. And we did at one point hear Tom giving voiceover at the beginning, but now they just start giving voiceover to everybody.
Now go on and find your next adventure, but not that direction, Lord God. You're going the wrong way.
Like, we hear the island man narrating Lance's journey, which is just so jarring because I thought it was a Malibu rum commercial all of a sudden. At breakfast, Georgia becomes a little suspicious of the boys and their night out because, like, these guys next door are like, hey, banana boys. Which makes Georgia wonder, what happened last night? Did those two hook up? Like, she thinks that Tom and Ricky hooked up for some reason. And the Banana Boys thing that they're called, that nickname is never explained, okay? So just don't worry about it. If anything in this movie confuses you, they're not gonna bring it up again. They want you to just enjoy the ride. But I can't enjoy the ride because I'm critical. The moms go and see a sex therapist.
What she's trying to say is we are here to see the psychosexual kinesiologist who also happens to be a subdural neuron manipulator.
She's actually a sex coach.
I just like to say subdural neurologist because it makes me feel smart.
Well, you never said subdural neurologist. You said
subdural neuron manipulator.
The script supervisor was a talking bird, I bet. The manager randomly approaches Tom at a dock, like that has nothing to do with anything. He mentions your dry cleaning is free, and I'm like, but the other character was the one who's all into dry cleaning. So why all of this extraneous talk of dry cleaning? It means nothing. Georgia tells Lance about her suspicions that Tom had an affair the night before, so he's on the case. While the parents are with the sex coach, who is played by the same woman who was Coach Beast in Glee. So between Cord Overstreet and this woman named Dot Marie Jones, that sounds like a made-up name that I would say, but nope. It's like a Glee reunion a little bit. That's cool, right? The sex coach scene is like, I don't know who wants to see this in an R-rated film. If this is supposed to be a sexy young comedy, then I don't need to see these old people biting each other's shoulders and reigniting their sex life. Like, who is this movie for? We don't know. Georgia takes her top off in order to seduce Ricky, hoping that that will get her the information she needs on what went down the night before. I hate this shot with the sex coach because when she turns, you can actually see the camera casting a shadow on her face, and I'm just like, are we student filmmakers? Did your dad let you borrow his camera to make a school project? F. I give you an F. You'll have to attend summer school. The fake Jamaican guy just keeps showing up everywhere, and he's so annoying. And also, he's like a direct ripoff of Jack Black's character in I Know What You Did Last Summer 2, which he was like, had dreadlocks and was this Jamaican white guy. But unlike this movie, I don't think Ira here is gonna get axed in the face. That would be a cool turn. If this could suddenly turn into a low-budget slasher, I would be into it. But we're an hour of the way through from an hour-and-a-half movie, and nothing has happened. We've had lots of beach scenes where they're like, oh, we're playing in the water. And there's like talking seagulls. Ricky and Georgia are hooking up now. And basically Ricky is like, well, I don't know anything that you don't know. I don't know what happened last night. Making pretty much all of Georgia's little espionage completely pointless and irrelevant. Like, she's been walking around this whole resort, Nancy Drew style, trying to figure out who effed my husband. That classic Nancy Drew book, Who Effed My Husband? Nancy Drew in the case of the vacation STD. So Lance takes it upon himself to go searching for more evidence.
Hey,
guy as dumb as Tom has to leave a few clues.
You know, I'm not looking too hard for logic anymore, so I hate to beat a dead horse, but why would there be any clues about Tom's affair in the room that he's sharing with his wife? Like, what are you looking to see in there? You learned that he slept in another room last night. What's gonna be in his room? What is the reason? So while he's snooping around, Tom and Laura come back in, and he hides for a second. That lasts literally 1 second before he comes back out and confronts Tom. And of course, that upsets Olivia. And this is a classic third act conflict where there's like a misunderstanding. It's one of those, but it's even more forced and less interesting because it's just like nobody knows what happened. So everyone's just mad for no reason, basically, especially Lance, who's just trying to ruin the wedding at all costs because that's what the screenwriter told him to do. Lance and Laura have a little heart-to-heart on a hammock, which I guess is supposed to be some sort of emotional resolution because he's like, I'm sorry I didn't hang out with you more as a kid. And Laura's like, I'm sorry I didn't treat you like a real brother. What does that mean? You guys were raised together from her birth. How would she not treat you like a real brother? This whole dynamic doesn't make sense to me because it was never fully realized in the script. It was just mentioned at the dinner at the beginning and never brought up again, and now we're supposed to feel like it's being resolved for some reason. I hate it. I hate this family. I hate it here. Surprise, I've got a new beverage on the table. I took decaf instant coffee crystals and put it over ice. This movie is killing me. It's killing me with a gun. Laura and her brother are having this heart-to-heart, and then they go back to the lobby and they basically tell Tom, I'm out of here. Laura's like, I have to get off this island, and she goes to the airport on her own. And I'm just like, why wouldn't her family go with her? There is no more wedding. Why would they all hang back with the ex-boyfriend who cheated on her? But she's the only one who leaves, I guess. That's important. This would be a great time to bring back anything about her being a dog clothes designer. Like maybe she gets a big call for this order that she's been waiting for and working for all of these months, and she has to get back anyway, and or there's a big doggy fashion show. You know, they could do something, but they don't. They do nothing. They literally give us a montage of her waiting around at the airport. I don't even want to be conscious when I'm waiting at the airport. Why do I need to see 8 shots of Miss Olivia Culpo standing all around the airport? Like, I don't give a crap. Am I supposed to be like, ooh, I hope she doesn't miss her flight? Is there a connection? What are they playing on the in-flight entertainment? I hope it's Clueless. Meanwhile, back at the resort, Tom's dad comes up and they have a heart-to-heart. I don't think these two have had a conversation the whole movie. I wouldn't even know that they've met, him and his dad. But regardless, this scene took me out of it. I don't know if you're familiar with ADR. It stands for Automatic Dialogue Replacement, which is basically like after you shoot and the film has been edited, some of the audio doesn't work, so you bring the cast back in a recording studio to re-record the lines, and they have to kind of sync with what they're seeing on screen. And it's done a lot, but you usually can't notice it because then they take that audio, they add in the sound effects of the environment, they dirty up the audio so that it sounds natural. They clearly had to ADR this scene, and it is anything but natural. I'm like, tell me if you would notice that this is ADR.
Well, your mom and I are discovering new things too. We've been together a long time.
Well, your mom and I are discovering new things too. Your mom and I have been together for a long time. Like, come on, man. That's not really happening. You can't hear any of the ocean behind them, which I think is probably why they re-recorded. You can see from the trees it's really windy. Wind can ruin the dialogue, and just the ocean waves crashing against the dock would probably do it too. So Tom asks his dad, he's like, what should I do? And the dad is like, I don't know, I can't tell you. Great! Thanks so much for coming over here and sitting down, Dad. I'll see you at dinner. Should we get lobster tails at the buffet? Instead, we get the earth-changing advice from this. Tom is sitting at the bar, drinking his problems away, and suddenly...
Tommy, you look ridiculous. I have 3 words of advice for you.
Kid, chase your dreams, fulfill your destiny, and go get a haircut.
I'm a hallucination. I can still smell you.
What? Like, tell me what kind of hallucination this is. The guy, the big Elon Musk type inventor guy from the beginning comes on the screen at the pool. But also Tom doesn't seem to be looking at any sort of screen. He's like looking in front of him. And he's not like, what? What are you doing here? It just feels like it was completely crammed in. Like they realized we don't have enough scenes of John Lovitz to justify putting him as one of the lead like actors in this movie. So let's try having him come back in a hallucination. And Tom here, I just feel like he was not really acting in reaction to this hallucination when they shot it. I feel like it's just like something they did in post. Maybe I'm wrong, but either way, it took me like 20 years to be like, why is that guy coming up on the screen? It took until he said I'm a hallucination for me to get it. My head, it spins, it hurts. But the guy basically tells him, go chase after your girl. So he gets into a van to the airport. Meanwhile, Georgia, the Australian friend, sees the girl that Tom woke up in her room, and she's showing her friends this video and is like, look how cute this guy was. He was so loyal. The whole time he was just saying how much he missed whoever this girl Laura is. So, oh no, my hair is actually falling out. Is that hair loss or is that just stress from watching bad movies a lot? Hello, 911? Oh. So again, one of those third act misunderstandings that could be easily rectified by just some simple communication. Every movie character needs to go to therapy, and that's a diagnosis. That's a professional diagnosis from me, a doctor, which is a not doctor. So Georgia tries quickly to call her friend and let her know, and this is very Romeo and Juliet, where they have a letter being like, don't kill yourself. Only in this case, no one cares what happens at the end.
Georgia? I can't hear you.
I don't know why, but this scene just totally epitomizes the lazy filmmaking. The harsh overhead lighting, they clearly couldn't light this bathroom and they just used the fluorescents that were above. I hate that because you can always see that dark raccoon eyes. They could have just put a bounce board underneath and brightened it up, but what do I know? We can also hear the air conditioner, the ventilation of that bathroom, so whatever. So finally, Tom gets to the, what's it called? I have to drink decaf, by the way, because caffeine makes me so nervous. I'm just a little boy. So he gets to the airport and they make up and they kiss and blah, blah, blah. Everything is good again. They have the wedding on the beach and everything is picture perfect. You might think that would be a good place to end the movie, but this movie could not decide where to end. In my notes, I just have sad face. Because now we go to the party where all of the dads and moms get to give a part of a speech. Like, they let everyone at this party give a speech.
Well, we did it, didn't we, folks? Huh?
You don't even know all of these people. You were traveling with a group of 5, and now you have a full house and you're acting like they're your close friends and family. We did it, folks. We got these kids to the altar. I just live here in Jamaica and I saw free food, but okay. If you remember that Lance had met this woman at the bar who had been left at the altar, and he sees her in the water, and then there's another dolphin attack, which I guess is supposed to be fun. I mean, I guess all of this is supposed to be funny. I would imagine they wanted me to laugh at some point during this. Failed me there. But all I have to say about this scene is CGI dolphins.
I can't believe it. I'm terrified of the water. At least I used to be.
Oh yeah, that's right. Lance is scared of water, even though we've seen him go just as deep into other parts of water several times throughout the movie. If he's so scared of water, why did he get on that boat? I just don't get it. Are we supposed to be following his arc as he becomes braver around water, or as he becomes closer with his adopted sister? And why do those dolphins look like they're from a sci-fi original movie? I want to know. And that's where the story ends. We don't even end on a scene that features our main characters. We feature it just on this supporting character and some featured extra. So really good, really good. I appreciate all of the story writing. Congrats to all 5 of the gentlemen. Good luck everyone on your future endeavors. I'm so glad I spent $6 on it. That's sarcasm. And that, my friends, is the story of how 2 idiots got married in Jamaica. The story we all never wanted to see. You know, I gotta say, watching this and 365 Days in close succession really brought forward some of these little crutches that low-budget filmmakers use to make their features work. That includes really long, pointless montages and little tiny, easy-to-shoot scenes in between that seem to propel the story forward on face value, but actually don't do much, and they could easily be cut. What did you guys think of this movie? Would you check it out? Have you seen it yourself? Let me know in the comments below, along with any suggestions you have for future clip breakdowns that I should do. Tell me where to go, tell me what to compare, what to analyze. I'm happy to do it. But make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns. It's a great free way to help support my channel as well. But most importantly, if you're new here, I'd love to have you click that subscribe button right down there. Once again, I upload 2 new videos every week. Clip breakdowns like this and funny things with the Nick D twist. So make sure your notification bells are turned on so that you can be in the know, in the information superhighway. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for hitting up Jamaica with me. I will see you next time.